I can. Yep.
All right. You excited for this one?
Definitely excited. I'm waiting for this for quite a while now. Really excited to see what both these runners pull out. We know that they're very established and experienced runners with this type of thing, so it should be really exciting.
Yeah, both very deserving of having reached the finals here. Ppot, the world record holder, Cool Kid's exploits across many games are pretty well established. Quite the so Ppot had the only 33 in this tournament, and Cool Kid has had just a very steady stream of 34s, and you would expect that once we get to the finals here, we're going to have the very best gameplay. So excited to see what these two runners come up with. It's really anybody's match. Ppot probably has a higher ceiling, and Cool Kid maybe a little bit more consistency, but I don't know how much either of them have really been playing this game lately too. So I honestly think anything could happen. I'm pretty excited to see what we get.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should be starting here pretty soon.
Yeah, it looks like in 15 seconds. Best of luck to our runners.
Ppot is not playing a movie, which is good to see.
I know we were really worried.
Ppot actually has the world record on emulator, which is super impressive, considering that's not very common, usually with the extra input delay you get.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes things quite a bit more challenging, but once you start getting used to it and into the groove, it it proves that we can get some wonderful things going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So they're going to be starting off in Windman here, and there's a few different reasons for that. There are a couple of different routes, but this tends to be the more popular one. We get to open up with some really fun stuff, especially with something like the improv room here, where generally people will play it kind of same-ish at top level, but it's a very scary room regardless of what level it is that you're at.
All right. Yeah, nice to see them get through both the improv room and the checkpoint room right after that without a death.
Yeah.
A place that claims people early in the race, and the improv room in particular is a pretty long death. So you can see him going neck and neck through Windman stage.
Absolutely, and it especially becomes difficult because there are some subtle mechanics about this game that are really hard to be able to see at a surface level. So people who are familiar with some of the earlier or even some of the later Mega Man games, one of the critical differences here is that you can't jump out of your slide directly. You either have to do what's called a slide cancel, where you turn in the other direction, or you double tap the jump button to get out of it. So some of those tight movements that they're making are pretty darn impressive.
Alright, so here in the Windman fight, we're seeing them constantly trying to cancel their slide. It actually causes your charge to build up 1 frame quicker for every cancel you do. Fought with a pretty clean fight. And we saw him go into that fight slightly behind and come out slightly ahead. Got all his hits in.
Yeah, a really clean fight. And the other thing, too, that added a slight difference there is you saw Ppot jumping in the corner there. It winds up reducing some of the lag, and that corner kill got the explosions off the screen quicker. So that tiny bit of a lag accounting is... those things add up over the course of the run. And when we're talking at this sort of a level, all the frames matter.
It's fun how every Mega Man just has slightly different mechanics. The jumping against the wall at the end of the fight to reduce lag is very specific to this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So next up, we're going to see them going through Flame Man here. This is a pretty scary stage, especially with, depending on how things go with the tellies up top there, they can light that oil up and then you just have a platform below you that is going to continually be lit on fire there, and depending on which ones go on fire, it actually might light some of the other ones later in the stage, and then they can't do, the slides like they're doing under there. Completely 100% in sync.
Oh, that sync is beautiful. Ppot's friend Roland sniped him out of the air and then let Cool Kid catch up a little bit.
Yeah. This is a really, really scary room here, so we'll see what they wind up doing with this. One of the exciting things about going to this stage where they are right now is because they get the flame weapon, and you're going to see a lot of use of the flame weapon throughout the entirety of the run. It is very, very powerful, does a ton of damage, is great for the ammo, so they basically clear entire stages using flame after they switch to it at a certain point.
Yeah, you get 28 shots of it, and it does 4 times the damage Buster does to non-bosses. It's extremely powerful.
So now we're going to see the use of the wind. We don't wind up seeing this a whole lot through the run. It's not a particularly useful weapon other than what's weak against it, because it will actually only do damage to things that are weak against it. Otherwise, it actually drags them off screen, which can cause lag, and you could also wind up sliding and bonking into that wind, so it's just, you want to avoid that entirely. But both clean fights there. We're still pretty well in sync here, which just is reflective of just what immensely skilled runners these are.
Yeah, Ppot also got another right wall finish there. Those little differences, like you said, definitely adding up. Blizzard is one of those stages that can definitely cause a little bit of separation. There's, first of all, there's a pretty difficult screen towards the end that could cause a death, but also the boss is one of the more RNG heavy ones. So we'll see what happens when we're out of Blizzard.
Yeah, they could get into that door in sync, and they can leave at very different times depending on what Blizzard decides to do for them.
Yeah, I mean, there might be up to like a 9-second swing between like the best and worst patterns you can get. It's pretty crazy.
And so this is where you start to see the power of the flame weapon. There's going to be a slight difference in the way that this is used in this stage, because they also have to account for ammo for the boss, because it is the boss's weakness. Otherwise, they likely would have switched to that sooner, just because of how powerful this is. So
Beautiful.
we got beautiful sub there. That's we got the butter there. I
actually think he could have made it there.
Yeah, it would have been a very, very tight save, not worth the risk there. Cool Kid playing it really smart with that.
Totally understandable.
And this stage has, this last stage here is the infamous bomb skip that a lot of people are always excited and hyped and want to see, but no runner is going to do that in a setting like this.
Nobody's still left in the tournament, we'll put it that way. Okay, so we're counting rolls from Blizzard here. We've already seen 2 from Ppot.
Yeah.
And 2 from
Okay.
Cool Kid.
Okay, so only 3 for Ppot, so that's not too bad.
Cool Kid should have had 2.
Yeah, he just barely missed that.
You can see Ppot, for the last hit, went underneath so he could get that right wall finish for the extra lag reduction, so he's been very purposeful about that in all 3 fights.
But those were both, pretty decent patterns in this type of setting. You always want the no rolls, but for this type of setting, you couldn't ask for anything better, really.
Yeah,
you'd be greedy at that point.
He'll tell you that the average Blizzard pattern is about 2.5 rolls, so they were right in there.
And then so now we're on to another one of the really scary stages, and it's mostly similar to when we were talking about Blizzard, the finale being scary. The last screen in this stage can be pretty scary, and a part of that winds up being because of these platforms that they have this tiny little pixel to be able to jump on, and they can't actually stick on it, so otherwise they'll wind up plummeting to their death. So it's a very scary screen, and you'll see them both likely go for it, and it'll be interesting to see how that winds up going. Those golems there, they see 2 of them through this the stage here.
Yeah,
They do
six
this.
hits to kill him in one jump, and they both got it.
Yeah, they both have really solid mashes and know exactly where to hammer down on that flame. So those are
Ppotdot
very
shot 7
clean.
on the first one. Yeah, this screen here, as a commentator, we're always just hoping we see them get through.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ppotdot got through the scary part. He made that look like a million times easier than it actually is. coolkid got it as well. Really good stuff there. So you're gonna see different runners wind up approaching that a little bit differently. It looks like coolkid's going to be switching in the room. A part of the reason that you do that is so that you can see where Blizzard's going to jump, because we're going to see a little manip here.
Oh, Ppotdot.
Oh no, Ppotdot! Well, we might be able to see it from CK here. So what will wind up happening is if you get stuck in the hitbox there, you're able to get Plant to start running around rather than putting on his plant barrier. So you get to be able to get 6 shots in there as opposed to a couple and bouncing back and forth. So that helps coolkid gain a little bit of time there.
Yeah. Still pretty close, within 10 seconds or so.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, deaths in that last screen of Plant are extremely punishing. Probably 45 seconds plus if you die there.
Yeah.
With runners at this skill, it's not impossible to come back from that, of course, but you don't want to be giving up that kind of advantage to a runner of this caliber. So always really nice to see both of them get through it and give us a chance of a close race, a higher chance of a close race.
And then so you're seeing them both jumping right onto Flame right off the bat here. This is the power of Flame here. This one, you drain this start to finish, and it's stuck with you the whole stage. So it's lovely to be able to see its use here. Some of the other Mega Man games, you start to see a lot of different swapping and stuff like that. No, Flame is generally always the answer here.
Yeah, there are like several powerful weapons in this game. The menu is unfortunately just a little slow, so you usually take the one that's best suited to all circumstances. Like, if you can just use one weapon for the whole stage, and with Flame's ammo you can. It just ends up usually being a better choice.
Yeah, especially once we start talking about, you'll start seeing the suit usage later, because we don't have Rush in the typical way in 6 for people who aren't familiar. You get a POW suit and you get a jet, and so those are particularly slow menus, and it's just compounded with a game that already has existingly slow menus.
For sure. But we will see some other weapons later too. Right now, it's Flame's time to shine, that's for sure. Really quick, thanks for thought. Very nice.
Yeah. They both did this stage really, really well. We'll see what sort of shenanigans Tomahawk is up to. You're going to see the use of the plant barrier. You might not even really see it that much. It just kind of comes on as a quick flash on and off the screen. It is a barrier that surrounds Mega Man. And you got to be right up tight and close to him there.
Yeah,
that was a very clean fight.
For sure. You have exact ammo, so you definitely don't want to be too early and shoot into his iframes. That'll cause you to have to finish the fight on Buster, which loses you quite a bit of time.
Yeah, exactly, and especially because you're likely going to be taking a lot of contact damage during that fight. You really don't want to be messing around with that, because it's really easy to go into Buster mode and have a long recovery ahead of you.
Yeah, Tomahawk, one of the harder casual bosses, I think, in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now we're on to Yamato Man. I'm so used to when there used to be Mega Man 6 weeklies, listening to Ppotdot sing this song that goes with this, that I wish I knew the lyrics to. This is one of the.
I'm sure he'll be singing it.
Yeah, always does. So this is one of the stages where you're going to see mostly the Buster usage, because it's quick enough. There aren't many enemies throughout this, and then you're going to be switching off to Jet, and then the boss weakness. It's a super short stage. So basically, by the time we've even introduced it, we're basically done.
Yeah, we're taking the alternate path here to. We didn't get one of the beat letters. There are alternate paths in 4 of the stages where you can collect the letters to get beat, much like you can in 5, but unfortunately it doesn't have any purpose in the speedrun, so in this case they're just taking the alternate path because it's faster than the other one.
Yeah, and even if you go for 100% in this route, like Terex has routed Hundo especially, and he's tried his darndest to route Beat wherever it is that he can. Beat is just not really useful here.
I think you found like one use for it, not 100%.
Yeah, I think it was an X3. Like, it really wasn't much. And then, so now you're going to be seeing some usage with the power of the tomahawk weapon here. One of the cool things about this fight is that it's kind of partially scripted in a sense that he's guaranteed to only shoot twice or jump twice in a row. So, you know, if you see 2 of one, then you know what to plan for the next one. So they can kind of predict a little bit what Yamato's going to be doing in that fight and plan accordingly for that.
Yeah, that kind of applies to most of the robot matches in this game. There are a couple of exceptions, but for the most part they can't do the same action more than twice in a row. It's just that Yamato only has 2 actions, so he gets up to 2 of them, you know you're going to see the other. Right,
I think Knight's actually the only example of that Knight can just do what Knight wants to.
Oh yeah, if he wants to jump every time, he will jump every time. See if Ppotdot can get this ceiling skip here. Okay.
Okay, taking the D-boost.
So yeah, he played it a little safer there. We'll see.
That was a really smart move.
Ooh.
What will happen is this.
Oh, nice.
Okay, there we go. The once the spikes get low enough, they don't actually damage you anymore. They act as a ceiling, so you can just kind of squeeze on in between them, which is a really interesting mechanic. So it looks. It's a very scary thing in the respect that lining that up properly is really tough, because if you're standing, you're getting squished. So they got to time that slide and everything properly. So that's why it was really smart of Ppotdot when there was kind of that little bit of a delay there, taking that D-boost where he did. Some people even do an early menu there, because then the menu has the ceiling go back up.
Yeah, there's definitely a few different ways you can tackle that run, so it's always interesting to see what runners do there. There are some very difficult strats there.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the moment, like, you just kind of gotta reflexively do what feels right at that point in time.
Alright, so Ppotdot coming up on the Nightman fight. Still pretty close. I think we're still about 10-15 seconds apart.
Yeah, that could be anyone's game.
Yeah, Santo was saying Knight can just jump and jump and jump here. So we'll see what we get.
And the nice thing...
Run around.
Yeah, we always hope for the run and the shooting of his weapon there. That was actually not too bad for Ppotdot there. And because Yamato actually pierces a shield, it's pretty nice. There is a route that some runners take, like particularly PJ is notable, where they go Knight first, but dealing with Buster only on that boss, the Buster will ping off of that, so Yamato is very nice to be able to have there and pierce that armor.
Yeah, the other routes in this game, besides Wind, being Flame and Knight, the ones that we've seen in this game's history, both have very, very difficult Buster fights compared to Wind, where projectiles will block your shots, or Knight Shield. So Wind just is usually more consistent.
Okay, Ppotdot got the miracle jump there. There's that little tiny pit there. That jump over it and underneath the little Metroid thing is a lot scarier than you give it credit for. CK also got it, which is really cool to see them both go for, because it's not a hefty time loss, because Mega Man 6 deaths, depending on where it is that they are generally pretty quick, but it's when you're at this level, you know, the timing is tight, so you kind of got to be careful as to what it is that you're willing to risk. So it was nice to see them both go for it and get that. There we go. That's a classic example from Ppotdot there. This is a very scary room, because you're kind of adjusting with the way that the physics wind up working, and then figuring out whether you want to deboost and slide over spikes, all sorts of different stuff. We'll see if coolkid got it
the intended way. Well, intended in the speedrun, not as intended.
No casual player would ever do that.
Ppotdot was flexing his backup knowledge there with the Buster backup, which was nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have to be kind of careful about your night ammo in this fight because you are. Ooh, ammo drops
Scary
are
drop.
scary.
Scary drop.
Any drops above pits, you are going to see. You might not necessarily be able to see the runner, but you will be able to feel their sense of panic if you know the experience and have been through that.
It was a really good reverse deboost on the squid that Ppot had. He gave up a little bit of time going for that ladder jump. You can actually drop off a ladder and jump like a couple of frames to do so. But he missed it a couple times, whereas coolkid didn't go for it and caught up a little bit. So
Yeah,
we've tightened up. Here's another RNG boss.
one of the things that's nice about it though is that if you keep Centaur in those iframes, Centaur won't be able to flash. But the thing that you can't control is the teleportation. And
yeah, coolkid caught up in that fight. 3 teleports for Ppot and only 1 for coolkid. That's probably a 4-second difference right there. And look at this.
Yeah, here we are. We're in sync again.
Not kind to Ppot, both the death and the boss fight.
But we still have a lot of game left, and you never know what's going to wind up happening, especially with some of these bosses. Like when we get to Power Piston later, Power Piston gets to do a lot of fun stuff. X4 is a very scary stage, so we'll see what they both wind up doing. This should be a pretty consistent, rather scripted stage for both of them, so we'll see what winds up happening. But I suspect that this sync that we are seeing, basically frame by frame, is going to probably maintain itself the duration of this stage.
Ppot got the pixel perfect buster kill on screen 1. That was pretty cool. Picked up a little time there.
And now we get to see some of the suit usage. We'll be swapping to the POW suit. The casual way... Cool. Yeah.
30 frames safe for Ppot.
Yeah.
He takes a slight lead here.
Not many frames to a lot of people, but to them that's a big difference. But the safety is also nice because the jump that Ppot took is a really tight jump, and is very scary. So it was nice to kind of see both variations of it. And I think they do this fight slightly differently. There's not much of a time difference if they do, but we'll see what they do here.
Ppot should be slightly faster, but more difficult. He's going to try to kill him. Very nice kill. You can see Ppot killed him before he turned the corner there.
Yeah.
coolkid just after. Those are the little optimizations that, coolkid's a 33 runner and Ppot's, got the world record at mid 33, and it's just those little tiny things.
Yeah, they all add up.
Kind of make the difference. Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure this is where the only time that you ever wind up seeing beat if you see a top level hundo run. Otherwise, we're going to be seeing a mix of Buster and the Silver Tomahawk.
Yeah, this stage kind of known for the boss fight. Oh, okay. I forgot that Ppot does that.
I hate every time it is that I see it. I just clench. It's so scary. But it does save a little bit of time.
That, like 6-7 years ago, and Ppot never did it. Now when I see him do it, it's like, oh no! That wasn't his track for so long.
But it means you get to slide a little bit longer, which is faster than using the jet. So we're talking about saving those frames. Those little things add up.
It's still really close race. We're coming up into the power piston fight here, which is really difficult to land all your hits. He's going to be going up and down the wall, and they're going to be trying to read his pattern as best they can.
Yeah, they'll kind of stand in a similar-ish, be in a similar-ish area to be able to try and land as many of those possible. So far, we're seeing pretty favorable pattern here for both of them, and they're both adapting quite well. So that was really nice.
I want to say they both missed maybe 5 tomahawks or something like that. They're both within the realm of having enough. The fear in that fight is it's a disaster, and then you don't have enough ammo, and you have to collect extra later. But they should still be both pretty comfortable.
Yeah, for the refights, they'll both likely just have to collect those 2 pickups, and that's it. And then now we're on to probably the second scariest stage in the game, and a lot of jet usage.
Yeah, this stage can be really punishing especially in the last screen. If you take a death there, it's a big one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just scary, and especially like because you're not sliding a lot of the time, you're actually walking with Jet. Like it's faster to walk with Jet than it is to fly. So there's like these little tiny optimizations, but ultimately there are parts of it that are kind of a little slow. Oh wow!
That's a one-up and the drop. One-up drops are pretty rare in this game. I was watching his one-up and he got one there too. So it's kind of funny slicing her up.
I did not expect that. You have to be careful as to where it is that you menu and switch in some of the spots in this stage. Like if they menued and switched to Jet in a slightly different spot, it would actually wind up causing a ton of lag. So you'll see them some of the times within some of the boss doors, like before a boss or before a corridor, or say in the refights, they'll do it within a boss's door just because there is a ton of loading that will wind up happening. So they'll be careful as to when it is that they're going to be doing that.
Here's Matonga Z. I hate this boss.
Everybody hates this boss.
Favorable pattern here, except you got charged at the end. But yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad, and yeah, Cool Kid, not too bad either. Those full POW jumps and hits there they're really awkward because you kind of have to do it like not quite at a full jump. There's an awkward height that you do it at, and having to do that full charge and not getting bonked, like it's a pretty tight fight. So they both did that really well.
Yeah, there's kind of a delay to when you release your POW suit, so you actually don't really release it at the peak of your jump. You kind of do it on the way up. It's pretty awkward, but also he can just charge at random and just make it really hard to react to him. So yeah, both of them handled it really well. This is definitely the scariest stage in the game right here.
Absolutely the scariest stage by a landslide. Especially because if anything winds up going wrong, like say they take a death, which hopefully we don't wind up seeing, but if they do, having to recover with night ammo is a big problem because night is so useful here, but you only have so much ammo because you carry this ammo right until the very end of the game, and it actually even winds up being a backup for Wily if you don't have enough of the Tomahawk ammo.
Oh! That's a quick death. That's a quick one.
Yeah, if he had to die anywhere, that was the room.
Yeah, you can see he's going to start off with Buster to try to recoup that night ammo, as Fanto was saying earlier.
Okay,
also
got
that. The cycle past the shield guy in the room earlier, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always nice to see. So there are different versions. Yeah, I was about to say there are different versions of this fight, and I'm used to seeing a flame fight here, but for safety, it's a little bit slower to do the POW fight, but it's still really quick to do it that way. Cool Kid is going to be going for the flame fight, so you'll be seeing the differences between them.
Yeah, flame definitely faster, more difficult, and scarier.
Especially, yeah. I was clenching there because as soon as you start seeing that health drop, Mr. X there, swinging around can do some just gargantuan damage with contact damage. So that's scary. So that was a pretty decent recovery there.
Yeah, Ppot, I don't know if he wasted a flame earlier or not, but flame ammo routing is very tight if you go for the fight that Cool Kid went for, so...
Yeah, depending on how you do that, I think you will have 1 or 2 extra flame ammo by the end of it for fighting Blizzard, so... You know, going for POW, which has unlimited ammo, and just a tiny bit slower, isn't really that bad an idea for a setting like this. So you'll be seeing... You see Ppot kind of doing an interesting transition where they start the jet usage before the screen that they're supposed to land on, and the only reason for that is that that's the only way you can slow the momentum enough to get there. If you started on the same screen as that block that you wind up breaking, you'll just fall straight through. So you got to be conscious of that. Very, very unbeginner friendly. And you're going to see Ppot coming up into probably the most annoying boss in this run, solely just because of the hitbox. It's the absolute worst. Your Yamato spear travels at a different speed that winds up being faster in terms, like I think it's 6 pixels per second, and the hitbox is 4 pixels wide, so it can just sort of miss, as you see there, where Ppotdot is hitting, but it's just not registering.
Yeah, even with the 3 miss hits there, I would say that was still a pretty good fight.
Yeah, going for the doubles the way that he did is nice. If you're going for this as like a more beginner-friendly fight, all you do is line yourself up with the back of the wall on the platforms, and you're guaranteed to hit it each time.
Yeah, we saw coolkid do that towards the end of his fight there.
Yeah, and that's just a testament to the ability there, the knowing when it is to swap strats and know when to take a little bit of a time loss for the guaranteed type thing is a smart strat to do. So this room is interesting with Ppotdot. Let's see if we can get all 4 of those turrets. There's a very specific spot for each of them where you can hit them with flame and not have it bounce off, so that was nice to see 4 for 4 there. We'll see if coolkid does the same. Ppotdot opting to, because of the flame ammo, Ppotdot was able to hit a couple of the brain breaks there, or mad nerds, or whatever you would like to call them. Whereas coolkid is going to have to be doing this with the little bit of wind ammo there.
We're getting towards the end of the game. Definitely can ill afford to fall further behind.
Yeah. The wind winds up causing a little bit of lag, so wherever it is that you can not use it, it's definitely optimal, but it's still quite quick. And plus, it's the boss's weakness, and you're able to take it down pretty quickly with that, so it's preferable to keep that out. So this is where you're going to see Ppotdot filling up that silver tomahawk ammo. That's the only one that he's going to be concerned about here, and that's because you wind up seeing a lot of its usage. It's not just for the refight, using it against Yamato. It's going to wind up being used entirely almost for Wily, because Wily has 3 different forms, and all of them, the weakness is that, so you want to just keep that out and hammer down.
Yeah, the refights can be a pretty big swinging stage. Probably not enough to make up the gap that we're seeing right here, but we've seen, for instance, Centaur or RNG in the stage play, or in the run earlier, play a factor. Blizzard can as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also depends too, if somebody doesn't respect the iframes, things can change pretty quickly, because it's easy, like say, we're going to see the boss weakness on wind, which is going to wind up being the flash, which uses exact ammo, and is easy to be able to fire a little bit too early if you're in a little bit of a rush there, so then you're going to have to switch to a backup weapon, so we'll see what happens.
Blizzard is giving coolkid the absolute business.
Yeah.
That was almost it started as the legendary 6-roll pattern. He got 4 immediately. But thankfully,
Blizzard was just not having it.
Yeah, coolkid needs like everything to go pretty much correctly here if he wants to make up this difference. But Blizzard not helping him out there.
No, not at all. And Ppotdot has respected the iframes and is able to take down Wind fairly easily. It's nice that you kind of get to be wherever it is that you feel like in that room and not have to worry too much about it, because Wind initially can be some trouble there. So we'll see what Centaur does to Ppotdot here. So far, this is definitely ideal here. And Ppotdot with the exact ammo, that was about as nice as you can possibly get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And both of them doing pretty well here. We're getting a Dumpy Nightman opening. Not the best night pattern.
No. Got those hops. We'll see what Centaur... Oh, right, open and right up with that teleport. Let's see what Centaur does the rest of the time for for coolkid here. There we go. That's nice.
Yeah, thankfully, if he runs after that first teleport, you're guaranteed to only have one.
Missing that one little shot there on plant for Ppotdot, but overall that was a really nice fight. And we'll see if Ppot goes for the Ppot jump after this fight with Mimato here.
Everybody needs to ask Ppotdot when are the 6-hit cycles. We're not seeing them in this run.
There we go. Got the jump.
Very nice. So Ppotdot on pace for a low 34. That was with the death too. He's really well.
Really good position.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough time for anybody to beat, even in the finals.
Yeah, absolutely. For those who aren't familiar with why Ppotdot just did what he did on that ledge, if you try and just slide off that ledge, you cannot collect that ammo. You wind up falling too quickly and just completely missing it, so you have to stop and you have to do that little bit of a corner jump there so that you can get that refill. And like I said before, you're going to be using pretty well all of the ammo on Wily here, so you don't want to be doing any weapon swaps during this.
Yeah, you can afford to miss twice if you have full ammo coming into or after that drop, basically.
Very nice couple of phases from Ppotdot there. You can do a little bit of an early hit on the second phase, so that's why you saw him shooting kind of into nothing. So far, not too bad a pattern for... That was actually a pretty decent pattern for Ppotdot there.
Actually, 3 cycles totally fine. GG to Ppotdot, really good run. See coolkid close it out here. It's like another 34 for coolkid, most likely.
Yeah. Which is definitely nothing to sneeze at there. That's a really, really darn good time. Especially, like, for both of them, they both have deaths in the run, and they're still putting down a time like this. Like, that's just incredible.
2 cycles.
There we go.
Sick capsule for coolkid, really nice. Even got the wraparound hit off screen.
Really, really well done by both runners there.
Well, this is a best of 3, so Ppotdot is now up 1-0. And we'll see if coolkid can answer and force a game 3 in the next one. Both played really well. You know, you cut out the deaths from coolkid, and he definitely was right in that thing. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens in game 2.
Absolutely.
I know I haven't been seeing either of them play Mega Man 6 a ton. I know coolkid spent most of his day warming up with Mario 2.
Yeah.
Put in a little bit of Mega Man 6 practice at the end there, but it's always amazing to me to see someone just pick up the game and be able to play it without, a lot of derust or practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Just casually off to the side, just getting some Super Mario 2 world records. Like, no big deal.
Oh, is the finals today? Oh, okay, yeah.
I guess I'll do that too.
I guess I'll do that and get
I guess I'll
34
put down a
with
top 10
no
run at the
problem.
same time.
So yeah, it's impressive to see what these runners are able to do at this level. Both definitely delivered in game 1, and we'll see if they can clean up some of their mistakes in game 2 and even have a better one.
Okay, so we're just going to be waiting on both coolkid and Ppotdot to get started up and lined up for the second race here.
Seeing Cool Kid practice the room he died in.
Yeah, totally an understandable thing.
One of those
You can
things.
never. There's certain things when you start grinding a certain game, especially once you start getting to those upper levels. There, like there are certain stages, there's certain rooms that you can never ever practice enough. That's definitely one of them. This whole stage, really.
Yeah, I think what happened to Cool Kid, and I had missed it the first time, is his two shots hit on the same frame. So instead of killing the Colton, it only registered damage once, so he was still alive. That's what caused him to die there.
Yeah, I never really thought that having a slow mash like I do would ever be an advantage. I've never had to worry about firing too quickly.
Well, it's because of the way that the Night Crushers, like the path they take, the
Yeah,
angles will be different depending on where you fire it from. So yeah, it's really, really awkward. It's one of those things that I
yeah.
think, like, when you grind that room out, you just try to learn how to fire him in such a way that that doesn't happen, but definitely happens to the best of them.
Waiting just a little bit longer on the setup here, and then we'll start the second match and see if we can wind up pushing this for 3-hole races. You always love to see it, especially in a finale, having that type of exchange like that, especially if they're all 3 close races. Fasto helping with the setup here. Okay, we're gonna get started in about 10 seconds here.
Alright. Yeah, sorry for the delay. Game 2 just about ready to get going. So, just thinking about how this is Cool Kid's third Mega Man tournament. He joined and won both the Mega Man 1 and 2 tournaments. So Ppotdot trying to end his streak of perfect finals here. We'll see if Cool Kid can claws way back.
A daunting task, but if anybody can do it.
Got that right. The Mega Man 2 final in particular was an epic. It was extremely good. So hoping to see the same here. See it get pushed to 3. Some really close races.
Yeah, you especially love it when you wind up getting to like a few of the moments that we had here where they were like, I swear it was just like frame by frame in sync there. Like you just love to see that.
Absolutely. Oh, reset for Ppotdot and bonk the panda.
You know that you've watched enough Mega Man 6 runs if you know that a Ppotdot panda bonk is a reset. A lot of people, that winds up being something where it's just, you know what, that panda.
Yeah. Seen a lot of Room 1 resets in my day. Alright, both through the improv room.
Very, very nice.
Ooh, clutch jump for Ppotdot.
Ppotdot.
Oh no! He skipped him in the first game, but we saw him go for it here. It's a short death. Okay,
I was wondering if he's going to clutch them all out, and I was about to say, like, there we go. We got Ppotdot hammering down on something that barely saves any time. Unfortunately, this time it just bit a little bit there.
Yeah.
But we're still super early.
I don't know, 6 to 8 seconds. It can't really be much, but you definitely don't want to die there twice, because then you're a death away from a game over.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of quick deaths in this game, but if you add game over to it, it can end up being not so quick.
Yeah, absolutely. But still, after that, very, very tight level, the rest of that. So we'll be seeing both of them pretty close to one another doing their dances to charge their buster just a little bit quicker. Wind makes that a little bit easier, like Faster was saying, in terms of just charging it a frame faster per slide change there, because of the wind mechanic where he's sucking you into him. But you kind of got to be careful about it at the same time, because the more that you shoot wind, the harder he'll actually kind of draw you in, so you got to be conscious of that at the same time.
Really nice stage for Cool Kid. Almost a 207.
Yeah. In any setting, like that's like a, you know, top level PB setting kind of thing, not just really good for a race.
Yeah. That's super good. And Ppotdot is like 6 seconds behind with that death, so no big deal. I mean, unless the race is decided by 6 seconds, which it could be, but...
It could be. Could very well be. But, I mean, depending on if Blizzard wants to be rude to Cool Kid again, like, that could change things substantially right there.
Yeah, that could be 6 seconds in that one fight.
You never know. There was a slight bit of delay on my end, and it looked like Cool Kid had missed menu to a different stage, and my heart completely sunk, because I think we've all been there before. Good pace completely ruined by a missed menu.
Yeah, it's pretty scary in the Mega Man games where you can reselect stages, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stage you've already been to. And Flame is such a smooth stage. It's hard to describe like why it's so much fun to speedrun, but it just has such a flow to it.
Yeah, there's something about the combination of where it is that you hit those slide cancels and just how it is that you do them that just feels so right, and especially the combination of, you know, some of the D boosts and the stuff with like the Pooker movements. Like it's great to be able to see some of that stuff, and there's a lot. Where you get to see, depending on how the stage went, some really cool adapting to what's going on, or even fun stuff like that. Like I like doing the swap and using the kind of shooting that last flame guy up into the sky. I don't know why, it's just satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. It's pretty hilarious, especially to see like a large enemy dragged off by the tiny windstorm too.
Yeah, just get out of here. Nice side kill for Ppotdot there. Where that
for Cool Kid. Very nice.
Yeah. Both runners capable of splitting out at about a 4:15 kind of thing, but a 4:20, especially right now, that's really, really good.
Yep. In a race, like, really, you're just hoping to get out of these stages without taking a bad death and falling too far behind.
Yeah.
Mostly, the race is going to be made, and you know, you can night through X4, and these ones you're just trying to stay in the race.
Yeah, exactly. Which is exactly what we were talking about before, where it's just like you're not seeing them go for bomb jump. I know chat always loves everybody going for the bomb skip there, but it's just you're not seeing it happening. That's not the type of run this is going to wind up being.
It's cool to see Cool Kid get the strat where you jump over the seal in screen 1.
Yeah, that was something that I know when he first started grinding the game, he was really pushing for that, and thankfully we see him consistently doing it because it's a really cool strat. It saves a tiny bit of time, and there's something about it that just looks nice, just skipping that D boost there.
Yeah, the double bonk at the start of this stage has always bugged me, so it's cool to see an alternative strat there. It's faster. You see Cool Kid pulling up again there in the second alpha.
Yeah.
Looks like Ppot's... Ooh. He had it until he missed the slide at the start there, so ends up matching Cool Kid in that screen.
Ppot had to stop for that one. I think Cool Kid, it looked like he maybe could have squeezed that in, but what we were talking about before is just, you know, it's better that you just get through it rather than try and push that heavy, especially because you're going to be using a lot of flame ammo then, and trying to back up that screen with Buster is just, it's not pretty.
Yeah, just let Blizzard decide your fate instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good.
Let the rolls happen. Yeah, and being able to get on that right side.
Okay, two roll for a Cool Kid.
And it was a nice 2-roll too.
I think we're up to 4 for Ppot.
Oh no!
So I know Ppot used to say the average was 2, and now he says 2.5, and I'm waiting for him to eventually revise it to 3.
Yeah, we're getting there. Some runners will say differently. Like I swear Tarek says that it's actually like a 6-roll average because he has luck like no one else with Blizzard for some reason. I don't know what it is about Blizzard and Tarek's, but they don't like each other.
Cool Kid had 2 short rolls, and Ppot had 4. One was long, so yeah, about 4 or 5 seconds.
So that was very favorable for Cool Kid there. Like that's why you saw Cool Kid rushing to the other side. As soon as you get that snowflake opening, you want to rush into that other corner because regardless of what Blizzard does next, it's way quicker to do that short roll on the right side.
Yeah, plus you get the guaranteed lag reduction at the end for doing the rest of the fight at the right wall.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice one jump there.
It's always really fun to see the good mashing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things that, you know, you see certain runs where you mash and it's just... like, say if you're playing like a Contra or something like that, you're just hammering down, but there's a specific kind of like art form to this one because jump mashing is more difficult as it is, and then just the spot that they have to stand at is very specific to be able to get that to line up properly, so it's nice to be able to see them clutch that out.
Oh no!
That's where I was talking about before. Where now that just makes things very terrifying for Cool Kid here.
That's
so getting that backup ammo, but it still is going to make that last screen a little bit tougher here. Because now he's going to have to come up with...
Yeah, there are ammo concerns here, as you can see.
Yeah, so Cool Kid playing it smart with wanting to try and go for that again and get all that flame ammo back. Especially because when you get into a groove with running a game, it's...
Yeah, that didn't look good.
No!
The drop messed him up there.
When you get into a groove running a great game, like if you're used to doing flame strats on that last screen, switching to Buster all of a sudden, like it makes things really difficult. So you kind of want to get back into that groove that way.
Yeah, Ppot able to get through plant without issue, which is obviously huge. You can see Cool Kid now doesn't have backup ammo, so seeing him Buster there so he can save some flame.
He actually had enough to be able to do that, but I also get like when you're in that recovery mode and you're trying to get this stuff going, like
you don't always
oh
have strats
no,
before dying twice.
yeah,
Just not always the
once
best
maybe
for that.
twice.
Especially for cool, Ppotdot's been running this game as his main game on and off for 7 years, and Cool Kid got his 33 in this game pretty quickly. So he doesn't have the wealth of backup strats that someone like Ppot would have necessarily.
Yeah, obviously a top tier runner, but hasn't done the volume of no reset runs that Ppot has. So just the backups create a different sense of panic depending on how experienced you are at it. Like I know any of my main games, I'm just so used to failing in them that when you go into recovery mode, it's like, oh, it's this again. But if you don't have that experience, it can be tough. But still, despite that, Cool Kid recovering, quite well, and it's you never know what's going to happen. You never know. It's obviously an advantage.
Yeah. Ppot did a couple runs last night. There were apparently like a 36 and a 35, and if he gets a time like that, like Cool Kid can still absolutely come back and make this a race and win. But he's going to need help at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially because from what I've seen from the tournament so far, like Ppot has just been, playing at his best. So it's tough, but both doing really, really well, and it's really exciting to see something like this.
Yeah, the plant deaths are just unfortunate. Like it's something that every runner has dealt with, even at the highest level. It's just a very, very scary screen.
Yeah, there are a few spots in this game where when we're talking about deaths being costly and scary, that's probably, at least I know for myself, that's probably the scariest spot for anything to go wrong, and it's also one of the most likely spots for something to go wrong too.
Yeah, in any race that involved Mega Man 6, I always breathed a huge sigh of relief after Plant was over. I know X4 is scarier technically, but Plant is so early in the run, and it has such a big impact over your mood and everything.
Yeah, and thankfully, with as scary as X4 is, like you have like it's particularly Jet at that point where it's like if you really wanna unscare yourself a little bit and take it safe, you do have a little bit more backups at that point in time, whereas Plant backups are they're not pretty backups.
Yeah, that's a good point. You have to go back and do the thing you just failed.
It's still very nice stage for Cool Kid there.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, that dragonfly. I have a lot of history with that dragonfly.
Yeah, everybody's had their moment in this one with that dragonfly. I think, if I remember correctly, the community has a name for it. I can't remember what it is, but I think that there is one. I'm not sure if we can say it here, but...
No. It's named after someone. I'll give him a break.
So one of the neat things I don't think that we talked about with Jet in the previous run is just Jet will actually wind up having like the ammo will actually be filled at a different amount depending on how it is that you used it and menued throughout that. And then you'll also see kind of an interesting thing with some of the ladders and stuff where you'll see very specific spots where they'll start using Jet because it's not particularly valuable to try and start Jet too early, speed up the ladder, climb up a bit, and try and do it again. Like you're going to go slower. So they try and do it to where would they get up to a walking cycle there. And you'll see that on Night as well as what you just saw in Yamato there.
Jet tech is really, really interesting, and it's a great tool in this game. I think a lot of people are pretty on board with it. Like the Jet and the Power Suit are pretty cool additions to the franchise, and they were used really well in this game. In this speedrun, I think controlling Jet is pretty interesting.
And it actually there's a category for it that some people run called Jet Percent, and it's pretty interesting to do it. Even not necessarily to kind of like grind the run, but just to get used to how it is that Jet functions. Like you fully understand Jet by the end of that, and you can understand like the power of it and how
Ppotdot
useful
does
it
it. He's
is.
got it. Wow.
Oh, there we go.
That is
Very
beautiful.
clutch from Ppotdot there.
Yeah, so the first time we saw him stumble with his movement a little bit, and he did he took the bonk to be safe, but there he got the fastest strat there, which is not easy at all.
Yeah, when you get those nice mashes there, along with your slide chaining being proper, because slide chaining in this game it's a tough thing to do. Like you can't just mash sliding in some of these games. Like 3 is definitely one of them, where if you're trying to just hammer down on that mash to slide chain, it is not happening. 6 is definitely like that too. Like if you start seeing people standing up, it's because they're not chaining that properly, and that's the scariest spot where slide chaining going wrong.
Yeah, slide chaining has like an oversized importance in this game because you actually come to a dead stop when your slide ends. In other sliding megas, your slide ends and you'll continue to walk forward in between. So like you don't lose quite as much time, but here, like every frame you're not sliding, you're standing still. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. It's good slide chaining is super important, and just being a little slow on a couple slides can make that strat Ppotdot did impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been sitting there secretly hoping that both of them, and they haven't been getting it, what was called the Phanto Spear, where, very clutch from coolkid
Yeah, that was
there
cool.
too. That was nice to see. At the top with the brain breaks, you can accidentally shoot the Yamato spears against them in a really goofy way that it actually makes one of them teleport. And the community decided to call it the Phanto Spear because I kept making that, like, what might be like a frame perfect mistake over and over again.
That's fantastic. I love it.
I was so confused the first time it happened, and Ppotdot clipped it in my stream, and then it was just like, okay, what on earth is that? And then it's just like, okay, no, now we gotta focus in on this.
Yeah, I had never seen that before. It's kind of funny.
So let's see if we get another miracle jump from Ppotdot here. Very nice.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no, no.
That's
Jumps
like
have a very
jump
weird
to get
movement.
back. Yeah, to get back out of the water there, I think you need like a good vertical subpixel. I don't think you tend to like miss a bunch of jumps in a row, but
Yeah,
not gonna go back up and around.
but it's not going to be guaranteed every single time like we just saw, so it can be kind of frustrating when things go slightly off in that way. So let's see if we get the D-boost slide across the spikes from Ppotdot here.
Yeah, Ppotdot took a death in this room in his first run. Still got a 34-11.
There we go.
Very nice. Beautiful.
Very nice. And that wasn't too bad a night from coolkid. Still hopping around a bit, but not too bad.
Yeah, he's been hanging in there since the plant stage. Like nothing bad since then. But Ppotdot's not giving him any room.
No, certainly not. So we'll see what winds up happening. Still, it's definitely in the favor of Ppotdot, but you just never know, especially because, oh, there we go. We got that lovely ladder jump.
Yeah.
Like, it's still anybody's game because neither of them are letting up in terms of strats. Like, you're not seeing a lot in terms of, like, oh yeah, somebody's going for a safety here. Like, they're both putting it out. So it can... It could be scary.
I could be mistaken here, but I think Ppotdot's one of those that doesn't ever watch his opponent when he's racing. So I'm assuming he's just going through this, not knowing that he's, 2/3 of a stage ahead, and could back up on some strats. Not that he would anyway, but most likely he's probably just playing his game regardless of his standing versus coolkid here.
Yeah, I don't think he does either, at least from my understanding of it, which is... It's a really interesting thing because, there can be an element of strategy to it where it's just like, okay, you know what, I have this little bit of leverage here, so let's kind of ease up a bit. But at the same time, like, when you're in a setting like this, especially because Ppotdot has a game on him, like, just going for broke is also kind of a thing because it's like, okay, then I have one more buffer if something goes wrong. So I can see Ppotdot just going for broke here. Plus, like, no, it's his game, so you're gonna probably see him just always going for it.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating because there are great racers that have completely opposite mentalities on how safe they want to play races versus their like PB attempts.
Yeah, absolutely.
there's a couple schools of thought. One being that if you're just more practiced with something, it's probably better than going for a backup that you have a little bit less experience with. But if you practice safety strats, just not dying in races can win you so many races. Because we're not machines. We don't play perfect, and most likely you're going to see deaths, and even in the finals we've seen it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always one of those things too where it depends on the person's mindset going into this, because some people it's like, I'm in it to win it, so strategy is the game, but other people are just, I'm in it so that I can show off some really cool stuff and I'm getting hyped here, so they might just go for the whole everything.
Yeah, and neither's wrong. It's just a matter of personal choice.
Yeah. We know that both of these runners are having fun and just killing it here, so it's super exciting to see.
And wow,
Nice.
that's not an easy fight. I'm not sure if there's anybody that goes for that besides Ppotdot. It doesn't save much time.
I've seen Becco go for it recently in
Okay.
his grind, but Becco's also going for a world record too, and I think is within frames. He's got a 30, 34, like as well as Ppotdot. It's just separated by frames at this point. So like one menu could have got him a world record. Like it's just there, it's tight right now. So I think it's only Becco that I've seen going for that. It's a really, really cool strat. The time difference isn't that substantial, and it is scary. And so is that. I wish he would stop doing that.
I'm seeing Ppotdot nail a lot of stuff that he stumbled on in the first race. Like, he's having a lot of really clean sections here.
Yeah, very much just flowing here. But you love to see it. You love to see everybody doing well.
Yeah, that was a really solid looking X2. See what kind of boss fight he has here. And coolkid
Nailed it as well.
Yep.
The way that
nice you kind of put the flames out on the wall like that and let the boss run into them makes the fight really consistent.
Yeah, a lot of runners that are sort of like the mid-tier wind up doing a very different strat where you just go into the match and you just mash as much as you can to open it up and then do a back shot to be able to take out the first one, but you also run the risk of lower flame ammo. But for someone like myself who's definitely never going to use nice save from coolkid there, who is never going to wind up using flame on the X fight, that's not going to be a problem there.
No, there's like small lag considerations between different strats too, but
yeah,
absolutely, it's all just relative to like how much you want to how much work you want to put in to try to save increasingly small amounts of time in speedrunning sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that I always encourage for people who are looking who are looking into grinding this game or any game, is just always look at what your actual goal is and try and figure out like how much do I really want to be able to push this, and know that it's okay if you go for this game, you don't have to go for a world record. Like if you want to go for a 45, that's fine. Go for the 45.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's it's all speedrunning's all about self-improvement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wherever you start, you just want to show growth.
Very clean stage from Ppotdot here, and that was also a really nice stage from coolkid, and pretty decent power piston as well. Yeah,
coolkid's made very few mistakes since plant, but Ppotdot hasn't really either.
Yeah, Ppotdot is just not letting up here.
Death like right before the door in X3 would be a pretty big one that would have potentially come close to equalizing this a little bit, but now it's going to have to be X4, I think. After that, it's going to be really tough for coolkid to make up this gap.
Yeah, the only way I could see it wind up happening, but we'll see, is just if it's in the last room of X4, if something happens with Ppotdot, that would be the only way. But we're wishing the best. We don't want to have the gap closed for no reason. But it's yeah. but it's such a scary stage. And since neither runner is letting up here, like, that is not something that, like, you can discount. It's not going to be from this point onwards. It's like, oh, look, he's ahead in X4. This is it. Like, no, the X4 is unkind.
Right.
And again, like, this is where, because of the way that it's routed around the ammo, like, it gets especially scary, because once you start running low on night ammo, like, you got to start being careful with what it is that you're doing here.
Yeah, and yeah, you can definitely start to spiral when you have to try to dig deep into your bag of backups. Oh my goodness, this Matonga Z.
No!
Charging back, charging forward.
Oh no,
Oh my
Matonga, just giving Cool Kid the business. You're not helping here, buddy.
Oh, Ppotdot.
Oh no, oh
Okay,
no.
alright.
That was getting scary there.
That was a,
I'm imagining we're gonna see... Oh, he's gonna go for the flame. I thought because of the health he was gonna be going for
yeah,
the...
yeah. If it was a health concern in the first one, he's definitely kind of lower than normal here as well, but...
Wow.
I knew he had it up there.
Just went for it.
Good fight.
Very, very nice fight.
Well, that's Ppotdot through X4. I would say he's probably on, even with the death, again, probably low 34 pace again, it looks like.
Yeah. If it's a 33, it would be a very, like, the tightest 33 imaginable, I would be thinking, but, you know, solid 34 it looks like. We'll see what happens here.
Coolkid gets revenge here in the Colton room.
So far, so good. Beautiful. That was a very nice Colton room.
Yeah, absolutely. X4 is a really fun stage. It's scary, but a lot of times the more difficult stages are also some of the most fun ones to play and practice.
Yeah, absolutely. This, for me, X4 is definitely one of those stages where it's like the practice forever runs never. X4 is really cool.
Yeah, then you start runs and you're ahead and you get to X4 and you wish it was practice again. Your attempts to just go like practice.
My PB in this game has me absolutely petrified during X4, and you could see me panicking. You could sense it in my face, you could sense it in my voice, and you can also sense it from Ppotdot yelling at me into chat the entire time, like, please let me help you with X4, what is going on?
Oh my goodness. You're not helping, Ppotdot.
Yeah. He's like, I swear I practice this, I swear.
Oh wow.
Very, very, very nice fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
wow.
some of that fight is out of your control. But yeah, to only miss one is always very, very good there.
Yeah. So Ppotdot still not letting up in any capacity here. I'm sorry, Cool Kid.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta hand it to your opponent. They came to play on that given day, and there wasn't a ton you could do to beat them.
Yeah, exactly. And because this is just like, you know, it's such a tight community, everybody's there is hype for one another. Like, if Cool Kid clutched out 2 wins, Ppotdot would probably be the first one cheering him on. Like, there's a lot of support here, a lot of love here. This is not like a competition between 2 enemies here. Like, this is 2 people who are just hyped up to show a cool game and get hyped up to push it as well. Put on a good show. Oh no!
Well, he went for it. He went for it.
He did it! It's a really cool strat, but it's easy to have that happen. Yeah, Buster is actually a pretty nice backup. If menuing weren't so long, you would actually wind up likely using something like that because you don't have any lag or anything from the Buster, whereas you have the lag from Wind. But we just use Wind because it's transferring into the boss weakness.
Yeah. You don't want to do an extra menu back to Buster, but Buster's really nice for that screen.
Yeah, there's almost kind of like a weird sense of relief when I die there, because then it's like, yeah, I get to use Buster. the screen list gets less scary with lag, and especially because, you know, it doesn't seem to happen as much in this game as say Mega Man 3 or Rockman Forte, where lag can really chew up inputs like big time, but you can still have some inputs eaten up if you wind up having things go a certain way. So you don't want to be risking that.
Yeah. Yeah, CK had a pretty rude Mechazorus there. What, Ppotdot has died, I think, 3 times across these 2 races, but, like, 2 of them were in the checkpoint room, and 1 was, like, right after it. Definitely
Yeah.
choosing his spots to die pretty well today.
Yeah, can't complain about that, whereas my heart goes out to CK, because where he took his death was, like, the worst panicky, worst place to die.
That's what can make the difference in races is, you know, sometimes you gotta avoid the big mistake.
Yeah,
mistake
absolutely.
is punished equally.
Yeah. Not too bad a blizzard for Ppotdot there.
Yeah, it wasn't 4 rolls like the last one.
No.
Yeah, so coolkid doing his best to stay on Ppotdot's heels here. Like I said, it's really been totally fine since plant.
Yeah. He's actually still quite close in a lot of respects. Like it's definitely in Ppotdot's favor, but there are, you know, you never know. You just never know. It's unlikely, but you never know what can wind up happening.
I am curious how close this would be if coolkid had taken 1 death in plant instead of 2. I have a feeling it would be pretty close with some of the
yeah, most definitely, made, like, because recently. Yeah, because coolkid has been really just like going for broke for this, and like the recovery has been just fantastic, not letting up there.
And Ppotdot with another clean refight. He's halfway through. Alright, just for fun, see what kind of blizzard we get here.
Oh no! Oh, blizzard. Just no.
Yeah, there's 4.
And now, coolkid having to make sure that he didn't get too aggressive there because of the tightness with that flame ammo.
Yeah, that's another consideration for you know, whether you use POW suit on the X4 boss or flame. Is being tight on flame ammo there means you have to play conservatively, which can sometimes lead to extra rolls because you can't afford to miss.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas I know for myself, I always go POW suit because I just like going ham on Blizzard there and just basically kind of mashing that to try and optimize that so you see as little rolls as possible.
Is it the 6-hit?
There we go. Very nice. Like that's as good a fight as you're getting on plant there.
And like a slight difference in the refights is you're forced to pick up health at the end, so anything you can do to avoid damage becomes, you know, more important here.
Yeah, the health refill is fairly slow. It's not something like, say, Mega Man 4, where anything filling health is just agony. But it's still not fast either.
Yeah, just, you know, small considerations that add up, of course. Pretty good refights for Ppotdot.
Yeah, again, very much so.
Heading towards a low 34. Maybe not quite as fast as his first run, but not too far off either. This one has 2 deaths, so
yeah,
pretty impressive run.
Centaur was fairly kind to coolkid there. Just got that 1 teleport. Oh, Knight looked like he was gonna be. No, now Knight's just goofing around. Knight had a good opening.
Yeah. Sometimes he tricks you into thinking that he has a heart.
Looks like Ppotdot shot an extra there, so it might actually be exact ammo here, so we might have to be careful.
I think he's got 1 extra.
Oh, no, he has extra, it looks like.
Yeah. Ooh, that spawn.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, there's the extra.
There he goes.
Gotta be a little bit more conservative here. Take the 2 hits there.
Not great spawns here for Ppotdot,
oh,
but...
No.
Oh, no!
Alright.
Now we're getting the POW suit out. There we go.
GG.
Very nice. Some people
34-11
go
and
for,
34-19.
geez, really,
Really
really
tough to
good.
compete with. Yep.
The POW suit definitely will come out. You worry about a high spawn there, so sometimes people will switch to night ammo because you can hit any spawn at that point, but it does far less damage than POW does. So you kind of got to take the risk on that, depending on what direction you want to go. But because you got to charge POW in time, you know, you kind of got to take the risk blindly.
Yeah. Yeah, congrats to Ppotdot. That was a very worthy performance for a final. Definitely showed what a tournament winner looks like in these finals here.
Yeah, absolutely. But Cool Kid not holding back either. Other than Plant there, just put down just an exceptional run. And the first run was, really good for both of them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cool Kid must have lost like a minute and a half at least in Plant. Would be my guess, and this is going to be something that would have been very equal to Ppotdot's time, I think, without those deaths.
Wiley almost being kind there. Not too bad.
Oh, is he going for a swag finish?
He's going for the swag finish. You gotta hand it to Cool Kid. There we go.
punch Wiley in his face.
That was incredible.
GG.
Both runners just clutched it out, playing really well there.
Yeah, I mean, you take away the deaths from Cool Kid's runs, and he was right there with Ppotdot in both races. Both played extremely well.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Well done.
The champion himself.
Yeah. I got a little bit worried at the very end of that second race because I don't have when I race I don't pull anyone else up.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
So like after Mechasaurus, I'm like, that's a race-winning Mechasaurus fight that I just had, and then I died in Wily 2,
That's a race-losing death I just had.
Yeah, I was like, well, maybe it's gonna be back in there, and then I had to swap to PAL for Capsule. I'm like, okay, this could be really close.
Yeah, if it weren't for Plant on Cool Kid there, we were actually talking about, we're not quite sure where that would have wound up going. It might have actually gone in Cool Kid's favor there. Because after Plant, Cool Kid was just hammering down and playing super, super well there. So, but we were both like, especially when he got that Mechasaurus fast, and I were both just like, oh my goodness, what was that?
Yeah, that was super good.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, that fight is the one that if I win, it's because of that.
Yeah, we'll attribute entirely 100% due to Mechasaurus there.
Yeah.
It looks like your warm-ups were 35s and 36s, and then just bust out a couple 34-1Xs for the tournament finals. Is that how it goes?
Apparently. I couldn't get a good run yesterday. Like, I guess I got the plan, I guess, was to just get all of my bad stuff out of the way yesterday. just die everywhere that I could and get everything out of my system. But yeah, I still had like a couple of weird things that happened in these runs, but nothing that wasn't manageable. So
Sure.
Yeah, it was really cool because the way that it was that things like that would actually wind up coming up. There were actually a few times, even late, like the first race, both you and Cool Kid were completely in sync, like on the same frame, jumping in the window. Like it was incredible to be able to see. So, any of those kind of
30 frames saved in real time. It was great.
Yeah. We
That's
saw
awesome.
the exact difference because you were both jumping in that window at the same time there, and you just edged just the tiniest bit ahead because of that pow skip there.
Yep.
In the first race, I was watching your screen. I didn't see clutch jumps and wind. I thought the feeds might have been reversed or something, and then I saw you go for them in the second game. And
yeah, I tried to go for it on the first platform in wind and completely failed. I'm like, okay, if my inputs aren't going to work at all, I'm just gonna bail on them.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Like that's usually how I evaluate it. Is if I can do the first couple, like if I can do the first one, then I'll just go for all of them. But if I get if I'm 0 immediately, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to press buttons here right now.
And huge congrats to Cool Kid there. You really pushed it and did some really incredible stuff there.
Yo,
Thank
congrats,
you,
yeah,
Cool
hello.
Kid.
How's it? There you are.
Yeah. I've been chilling, listening to you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, well done, Cool Kid. Honestly, I think without the deaths, you were probably like right around 34 flat in both runs. Like it just seemed like, unfortunately, the deaths kind of took their toll. But how'd you feel about your play?
It felt really good, especially the second race. I felt like I was really getting into the game. Like I had good movement, good mashing, and all that. But then I just had a mistake. Well, one of the worst mistakes you can have in the run. And then,
Yeah.
well, that was like,
Yeah, plant is the scariest to go down on and the scariest to recover.
Yeah.
So we both just like our hearts sunk there because that's just
Yeah.
really rough. But after that, like just seeing the level of play you were putting down there, like you were totally like you could tell that it was just like everything was just working. It was really cool to see because you were just pushing and like I just kept seeing, the gap was closing and closing and closing because you were just like really hammering down there.
yeah, it was fun though. I really enjoy running Mega Man 6. It's fun, a fun game to race to. I think it's, I don't know, I really like the game. I feel like it's a tough speed run, but in a way, I feel like it's like, I don't know. To me, it's like one of the easier Mega Man games to race. I feel like, I don't know. I think this is
Yeah,
the game I like
there's
enjoy racing the most. Enjoy racing the most because it's just got such nice flow throughout the entire
Easy to
game.
learn,
And
tough to master.
yeah, and there's plenty of like the hardest things that you can kind of ease up on to make races a lot more consistent. There's a couple things that I definitely don't do, like the hard stuff in X4, just to be sure that I can make it through in races. But very, very fun race game for sure. I appreciate Cool Kid. You're saying so. It means that I'm validated and not just opinionated.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I mean, I've done
I mean,
speedruns of every NES Mega Man game now, so I'd say I kind of
he
have
submitted
a
Mega Man
good.
6 to GDQ, unlike certain other
Yep.
games, so must like it okay.
Yeah, a lot of people notice that. A lot of people notice that.
It's been fun. The one regret I should have gone for bomb skip in one of these races in a tournament, but
Oh, man.
next Mega Man 6 tournament,
You didn't get to race versus Terex, or we probably would have.
Terex definitely would have. 100%.
Terex would have, and I think Terex would have been like, "Hey, do you want a bomb skip?" To him, like anyone who even had a remote idea of wanting to, he would have asked, like, "Hey, do you want to try to bomb skip with me?"
And he'd go for it. And for some reason, that magic little pixel just seems to be in Terex's favor. But to counter that, Blizzard is never in Terex's favor. Terex's average for Blizzard, I swear, is like 7 rolls. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, my roll luck in the second race wasn't super good. The first race, I think I was average. I think it was 5 total. But second race, I think I got 4 and 4, if I remember that right.
Yeah,
like
and
4-4 or
Cool
4-3.
Kid, the first race, Blizzard was not particularly kind to Cool Kid, especially in the refights there.
Second race, I only had 2 rolls in the second race. So I was like, yes, like pretty good
Yeah.
stages here, pretty good start, and then I just some mistake in Plant Man, and then the
Yep.
big death, and then I got by a fish on the
Yeah.
final screen the second time, and
Yeah,
the drop got you there, and that was an
exactly.
unfortunate place for a drop. But yeah, we were talking in the first race how we just always kind of breathe a sigh of relief when people get through Plant without a death because it's just such a game changer so early in the run. It's kind of unfortunate. And the first one, yeah, it lived up to everything. I think you guys pulled even when Ppot got 3 teleports in Centaur, and then yeah, all throughout the X stages, it was super close. Really, really, really fun to watch.
I almost got a gold on Wily 1 in the first race, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a very clean Wily 1.
I almost got a gold in X3 in this race.
Wait, after like messing up the Baron strat?
First race, excuse me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like that didn't.
Sorry,
first
I
one
had
was really
I
good.
had which one was which reversed in my head.
Matonger's
But if we were gonna have
the second
a
fight was
gold
something.
a gold stage against that Mechasaurus, like you were almost looking against it for that one though. That was
Yeah.
incredible to see.
Yeah, that my second Mechasaurus fight. It made up a little bit for my first Mechasaurus fight, where I entered the boss room and it took him like 4 full seconds to give me the first platform. It was ridiculous. I'm like, can I get a platform just to even have a shot at him, please?
Please give me a chance.
Yeah, really impressed with the show you guys put on today. Just really solid play from both, and especially because I haven't necessarily seen you both grinding this game or anything, but just the fact that you're able to pick it up with a little bit of warm up, able to put a cross runs like this is really cool to see.
Yeah, that's what I really like
Yeah,
about
Cool
this
Kid
run.
did a great warm up with Mario.
Yeah. Oh, I did like an hour of warm up. I did like an hour of practice for it. No, but that's what. Yeah, sure. Mega Man 6 really tough game to master, but it feels like to me this feels like one of the easier. After having tried a lot of different Mega Man runs now, I feel like it might be the easiest one to just get into and start speedrunning. So run if anyone watching has been watching the race or the races and think, hey, it looks pretty fun, and yeah, I think there's some good speedrun tutorials out there for this game. Want to pick it up?
Yeah, Terex is a nice beginner tutorial to get yourself
Yeah.
started on it, and then we're very very receptive to having more people come in. If just ask questions anywhere, and we would be happy to answer for you.
Yeah, we always love seeing more 6 runners. It's such a cool game, and like Cool Kid said there, like casually, I know when I was picking my first Mega Man game to actually grind, I picked this game because casually, like it is definitely one of the easier games to at least start and get like a decent time. And then once you start using the tutorial and you start getting into it, like there's quite a bit of breathing room to be able to show off something really good, but not have to be like completely terrified the whole time. It only becomes super terrifying once you start pulling off the strats that these 2 runners were going for.
And you can always find something new, like Phantom Spear.
Yeah, we talked about that one after we got through the main tech in the first race. I was sitting there hoping, thinking like, please at least one of them get a Phantom Spear just so that I can talk about this because it's so bizarre.
Wait, what is it? I missed out on the tech.
Phantom Spear is a very bizarre error where a spear just flies off screen, like it's going at the Mad Nerd, and then just zips off the top of the screen. And it looks bizarre, and I can't tell you exactly how it happens, but it's.
Yeah, I consistently get it at night. And
Yep.
it's not something where it's just like, I remember the first time Ppotdot clipped it when I was doing runs early in this, and it was like, what on earth happened? We talked about it in the Discord, and then I kept getting it.
Yeah.
And then it's just like the game is taunting me now because I keep having to bonk this Mad Nerd because I can never kill it because my spear teleports.
It's going through a wormhole or something.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I don't think. Oh, I have to check out the clip. I've never seen that happen.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty funny,
Nobody
and
has except Phantom.
yeah, I think I've only ever seen Phantom get it. Maybe there was one other person that got it, but I'm
No,
pretty
no,
sure it
no,
was
no,
just
no, no.
Phantom.
I know. I definitely went and investigated this because I was like, "There's no way that it's just me who's gotten this." And Chelney got it once. He thinks
Oh, okay.
he does. He's not. It's not confident, but at least he thinks. So it kind of gives me some comfort that I'm not doing this screw up in isolation.
Well, you guys have any closing words?
I would like to thank Mellow Flows for getting this all set up and started, getting everyone involved, doing a lot of work behind the scenes to help get stuff like layouts and things set up. I know Chrissy helped a lot with that as well. But shout outs to Mello for just getting the whole tournament set up. It's been a long time coming, and I'm really glad that he helped push it forward.
Yeah, the first Mega Man 6 tournament, and what a way to end it. Like both you and all of the runners did really well. Like it was really cool to see some of these matchups along the way because people were really like putting down, and especially when we saw newer runners in terms of this being like a newer speed game to them. Like I know Cool Kid was a more recent like heavy grind with this. Madu was as well, and like again just put down some really intense tech. So that wasn't just a like, hey, you know what, I'll have a go at it and see if I can do something in the tournament. Like it was like, no, we're putting down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun tournament. Thanks for having us. Thank you, Fast and Fanto, for commentating.
Yeah, thanks so much
Finals here.
for being here for the finals.
Yeah, for sure. I had a lot of fun. Can't wait for the next Mega Man tournament. I'm not sure what that one's going to be, but
It's Mega Man. It should be Mega Man 3, right? I feel like it's at least out of the NES games.
it's been a while. It's been a while.
I know I'll be
yeah.
advocating for 7, but I don't think that's happening.
It'd be fun to get 7, but it just depends on number of runners at the same time.
Let's be realistic. It's probably 3 over 7.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Everybody that helped to make this happen, and you know, fun to see yet another tournament. And this game got pushed pretty far in the time that the tournament's going. It's always fun to see the activity that the tournaments bring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for
Toodles.
watching.